Good morning, everybody. Hope you can hear me. So I'm just going to get right into it here, and let's click off of you. Let's get this going. So just to start with, I'm just going to run through, what's going on out there. I mean, these at-home stocks are starting to catch a bid. Start paying attention to them. This Peloton looks very interesting this morning. The way that we're forming this wedge, about to clear this 8-day and then pop over it. So I like that a lot. I'll be watching that all day. Amazon just looks like it's going to continue to be a beast. I mean, you're clearly above everything now, and just looks like we're just going to get another huge push out of it. So I could see why this will continue to be a focus. We did get in this a little cheaper from the newsletter period yesterday, like 100 and something points ago, but I like it, and I would just stay with it. I still think it's actionable today. For those of you that don't get the newsletter, you can see that 3667 clearing that level was just absolutely huge. That was just a huge day to do that. So keep that in mind. You're just going to have to keep looking at these at-home stocks. They're catching a bid today, and I think that's going to continue. So that's really what they're my three focus stocks right now. But let's just go over whatever you want to go over. Good morning, Jern. New all-time low. Let's take a look at that. So, yeah, I mean, you can't go near that. You can't go near that. I mean, I would not be going near that. I wouldn't go anywhere near it. Clearly there's something. Clearly there's something wrong there. So that's not something that I'd want to be involved with. So let's look at NM. Good morning, Dan. Let's look at NMTR. Let's see what's going on there. NMTR. I would not go near this. I wouldn't even think about going near this. I've broken every level. The 21's pointing down, the 50's pointing down, the 200 and the 8. Just completely avoid, Dan. Hey, Chris. So let's look at Roku. I did Piton, but I'll do it again real quick because I did it early. I get it. I like it. I mean, you have a huge overhead resistance right now that you're just going to have to watch. And I understand why you're looking at it. Just flip the 8 and then get above this higher high and flip the 8 at the same time. And you probably come back and retest this 462 level. It's a 5% move. It's not huge, but it's definitely there. It's definitely there. Yes. So let's just do Piton again. So I like Piton. I see what people are saying about it. You're going to have to just watch the open. But if you gap over the 8 and over this high, chances are that you're at least going to get up to this 128.5. And I think you could push. I think there's more there than that. So WMT and GRWG. The WMT, Walmart, look, you see how this starts to get in this little cross? Like, look, you can see how this is setting up, right? You should be able to see this, how this is setting up. So, but you see how you're wedged in there? So you're waiting for that to break. I mean, you have inside day on top of inside day. So you're just really waiting for that to break. If you overlay your levels with it, the 200 days really your level. I mean, 141.50 is really what you're looking for. You're looking for a point. All these wicks would kind of concern me a little bit. GRWG, let's do. So, I mean, it's just on a tear. It looks to me like it's just going to keep going now. I've been avoiding it just because that sector's been so weak, but this is clearly the name to own. And you see how you're getting spatial on those moving averages, how they're starting to get away from one another. It's exactly what you want to see. How it's respecting that 8-day moving average, how the 21's pointing up, the 50, the 200. I mean, it's doing everything that you want it to do. You're breaking above that 5108, which was an issue, and it looks like you could push right to 57. So I see the interest in that. I totally see the interest in that. Yep, I did. We should have both of those done by now. Let's just keep going. All right, so UPST. Good morning, Nicholas. UPST. I mean, here's the thing that I was talking about this yesterday. People have to understand. Get rid of all the bells and whistles. This bar is in charge. This one that broke down, right? You see how you're flagging here, and you have this huge flag. You're just basing off of this. So this is actually a bear flag. I mean, I hate to burst everyone's bubble about it because and I do like the company, but this is what's setting up, and that's what we have going on. So we just need to be aware of that. So the question becomes, what are we going to do about it, right? You really have to watch those levels that I have marked off there, the 119.34, the 114.20. Those key levels they're of interest, but to me, like, you overlay this. I mean, the 21's pointing down. Now you can see why, right? The 50s and the 21's about to cross, the 8's pointing down. I mean, this is not getting better. It's getting worse. Now, if you really want to look at the trajectory, right, you throw this in, you're heading right to this line. So, I know a lot of people are interested. You have a major one here, but, I mean, that's $80, $90, $70. So I'm not saying it can't get there. It can, but we just have to watch this level right in here first before we do anything. So, and let's just go to Viacom. Yeah, let's take a look at Viacom. I thought that this would actually get more action than it's getting. With that merger news, the idea that they might merge somehow with that, with Comcast, but you're not really getting anything out of it. As a matter of fact, all you've gotten is just straight. Let's just make these just a little thicker. So see how you have that line right there? Right. You're just going to have to watch that. I mean, I wouldn't be buying it until I got above that level. I would just watch it from there. Hi, Anna. BOMN. So again, just outright avoid. See how you're rounding here, and then you have another one here. I mean, and you can actually look at this and see how, look. See how you tried and then you failed. You don't want to go near this. Now, this was your support level here, and you broke that. I don't know why I have these in. We can remove all these texts for now. We can leave those lines and throw the indicators in. You're sitting right on the 50-day. It looks to me like you're about to break it, and you look like you would head to that 27.39 level. 27.93. It looks like that's where you would head to. So I would be cautious there. It's not something that I'd be rushing into. TDOC, I want to look at. TDOC, I definitely want to look at. That at-home space just looks very interesting. I'm not sure why this is getting no love, but it's getting no love whatsoever. We take out the pre-market and just look at it, right? I mean, I've got it marked up pretty good. This line we really don't need anymore, but you can see how here's your falling wedge. Look, let's get rid of the falling those lines, and let's get rid of this for a moment. See how you're just channeling higher and then you break? Hold on. Right? So you channel higher, then you just break. You may actually this might be really simple. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty simple to do. There's your channel. So usually these don't end well, especially if you get up to this like 175 level, which is really where you're at. You have two levels in here, but you're really like, I think this is 175, which was the high. Yeah, 174.32, and you rejected it. and you rolled. Now you're at the lower end of this channel and you need to hold, because if you break that, you're heading down to here. You're heading right back down to that 130 level. So out of all the at-home stocks, that one just looks the worst. ZTS, let's just go ZTS. So this looks great. I mean, let's throw some indicators in, see what we're dealing with. Yeah, my only concern would just be the lack of volume. So that leaves it susceptible to failing when you don't have a lot of volume, right? So just FYI. But look at that. I mean, it looks beautiful. So what do we look like on the weekly? Yeah, I mean, that looks great. You can't add to it here. You're too far off of your base. Here's your base. So you're too far off the base to add it. But after you cleared this level, that was it, right? Once you cleared that looks like that was basically a bearish engulfing pattern, sent you back down, tested your 50 week, and then from there it was just straight up. Looks excellent. If you're in it, I would just stay in it, but it's a hard one to add to. IDYA. I'm not even familiar with that one. So yeah, I mean, you're trying, right? But here's this long red bar that's encompassed this entire week, and you're still trading up, and you're still respecting the 21 day, which is good. But this bar is in charge right now, so you're just going to have to watch. So like here, look. Right? So you really have to watch that. And this is really where you'd go to. So you kind of have to look at it and go, is it really worth 23 to get up to 24.90? Is that trade worth it? You know, to me, no, it's not. So I would probably pass on it until it got over that level. Now looks like it's finally, hold on, let's do it this way on the daily. Now you got to get through that line. Looks like we were looking at this one earlier. I have zero volume going on here. I mean, like zero. So it's not something that I would even like. There's just no volume going on there whatsoever. So that would be a concern of mine. Looking at it, it's not something I would jump into because of that. MP been since 25, but wicking price upgrades ready to roll. Let's take a look, Jeremy. I don't know, but here, I mean, it's just wick after wick after wick, and you're constantly rejecting this level, right? So if I was in this at 25 and I was in this rolling pattern, and you can kind of see how you're getting toppy here, you have to be willing to stay with this. But to me, your absolute drop dead's got to be closing below the 21 day, because you haven't done it since you broke out, right? So if you were going to use something, just use the 21 day as your stop. You don't even have to use the 8, because it's broken the 8 and then stayed on the 21 and then gone higher. But a solid close below the 21 would have me out. I would not be adding to it here. It's very clearly you had an issue with this level here, and you're having an issue staying above it. Every time you just get these wicks, it's not really what you want to see. So that's how I would play that. SKYT. So SKYT, you're constantly breaking down. This was our one channel, right? We broke that channel and we haven't been able to get through it since. And now you can see what's going on here, how the channel's changed, right? So now you have a new channel. You have this falling wedge. So just watch it. Just be careful with it. It's not something that you want to be involved with. You just really want to watch. But I would not be in this. I would wait and see that play out before I would touch it. NVIDIA is just a beast. I mean, there's not really much to say there. We got in this at 699, and I thought yesterday we had a clear sign that we could be getting toppy just with this first red bar here. And that couldn't be further from the truth. We're up another 1% or 73 basis points this morning. So I do really like this. And I think that this can continue. But, we're just from where we're in this from the newsletter for those, when I'm in this room, I don't know who gets the newsletters and who doesn't. But, from the newsletters, we're in at 699, 850. We're in a rising channel. So, I was concerned that we're setting up to break down. And every time I think that, we just push higher. So, just something to think about. Without a doubt, it's definitely something to think about. And I would definitely consider that. It's definitely something where I'm surprised at the absolute resilience of it. I really am. I'm absolutely surprised by the resilience of this stock, and it just seems to continue to outperform without giving me any grief whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. You want to hold stuff like that. SPWR. I mean, you want to hold things like NVIDIA. If you get in it at the right price and you can stay in it and you're willing to break even on it, it's something that you can hold for the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, it's like when you look at Apple, when was the right time to sell Apple? Well, if you bought it right, there's really no reason to ever sell it. Just on to the next trade, just keep it. Now it's a different story because of where it's trading, but I mean, I get it. You have to hold this line on SPWR. I understand. I see this rally here. This whole space seems to be wanting to go, but then it just always seems to fall apart, doesn't it? Maybe this time it'll actually hold. It does seem like that whole sector wants to hold here. Out of them, I do like this name. I do like SPWR. There are a couple here that you really need to focus on. ENPH was one that's just been a monster and just forming this huge, it's just forming it's forming another flag right there. So I get it. I understand the space. I understand why people are interested in that space. Sorry, I left that up that long. I forgot to leave. I got to stop leaving those up. Do I think it'll correct soon? I don't know. I mean, this is a great question. And if I miss you, let's throw it out there. I don't know. I keep waiting for the pullback and I just don't see it. So, we'll have to see how that plays out, but I just don't see any reason to think that right now. I think it keeps pushing, I really do. So let's take a look at STEM. Yeah. I mean, to me, this is kind of setting up to roll. See how these start curving? You have to pay attention to that. Like they're telling you that this is kind of falling out of favor. See if it hangs in here, but this is not something that I would be chasing. I'd be concerned at how we're unable to stay and really get above this 3583 level. That would be concerning to me. Hey, Sean, ONDS. Let's take a look at that. ONDS. So now you're completely breaking down. See how look, you had this break here. You look like you were going to rally, falls. And if you get rid of this, you can see it pretty clearly, right? That's why it's so important sometimes to just look at stocks and look at levels without anything on it. And you can clearly see you're in a downtrend and you've been breaking. I mean, look, you broke this and you tried to get through it. You couldn't. So I would just avoid this ONDS. It's not something that I would be going through. ZM, I thought I did, but we'll do it again. Okay, let's try this one more time. Here we go. So I actually think this is setting up to, I think 440 is going to be a magnet on it. I really do. I think that this is setting up for a big move. And hold on, let me get rid of that, throw these indicators in. Getting above this was what everybody was really waiting for. And we finally did. And you're going to push above it today. Everybody knows this company is going to be around. It's a name brand. We were in this from the newsletter. It looks like 368, but Question is, what do you do now with it? I do not think it's too late for this at all. I think that there's an easy 10% here to that 440, and we climb up that red bar. I do believe that. GNRC and Asan. Well, let's do Asan. Okay. I mean, the issue with Asan is it's just waiting to break, right? It's just waiting for it to break down. And this bar yesterday was the first sign of that, this wick. Pardon me. So what you want to look at is what's really going on there, right? And to me, that looks tired. And it looks like it's forming, to me, it looks like it's forming an evening star on top of this channel break, which usually leads to something pretty nasty. So I'd be really careful playing that one right now. It would not be something that I'd be into. GNRC. Yesterday I got it. I understood it. I understand when people tried to trade it. This looks great, but I have no volume. But I've had no volume since 340. I've had no volume for 35%. People don't really seem to care. It just keeps grinding. So let's take a look at this on the weekly. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty overextended now. It's not something you could chase. If you did, you have to use a shorter term chart to try and stay in it. Any day we could have a pullback on that. So it's not something that I would go near. I'd watch that. See that allergies today. I apologize. Oof. ADSK. So let's see here. ADSK. You're trying to stay above there, but they're just not confirmation bars, are they? See, and look, the volume tells you a story. The red bars are selling massively. The green bars are selling less. And here's your red bar. So it's not something that I would be rushing into. There's a couple I really want to get into and I can already tell I'm behind. So AMD, XLN, and sale. Let's do sale because this space is on fire, right? So all I've done here is pull back to the 200-day moving average. That's all I've done. So that's how you have to look at it, right? I haven't done anything more than that. So all I've done is pull back to that level. Here's your 8. Okay. I could see why you would have an interest in this. You see that line right here? Look, I'll draw it really quickly because we're running out of time here. Let me just throw this back up. So I see what you're saying. I see how he undercut this. You see, you undercut your support. You shake everybody out. Then you have your reversal. Now you break up into it. So I do think that this could go. I really do. I think that could be a big one. Hey, Larry. Yeah, I do. I really like the stock. I think it can go. Let's look at V. V's been a monster. So I don't see any reason for that to think that that's going to stop. Look, this is just a slow grind. I mean, there's nothing else to say to it. It's just a slow grind up. But you can just, put it away. I mean, it just looks great. So it's definitely one that I would take a look at. And let's look at USWS. Now, I mean, I wouldn't go near this. There's no reason. I mean, you could tell it's being manipulated here. Like, look at this volume and how everybody got into it, and here and here. It's not something I would play with. I'd be really careful. Yeah, right. Exactly, Anna. CM's a verb, right? It's a verb. So yeah, of course, Nicholas. Docu. Docu. is one of those where, and I'm going to have to leave here there's a lot of stuff I have to look at this morning, so I'm going to have to leave very soon. DocU's one that's definitely on the short list. I mean, absolutely. Yesterday's action bothered me. And it's why I just didn't pull the trigger on it. And I'll show you why it bothered me. And then it's just like a real quick lesson for everyone. See this? See how we didn't get above that? So here was my break. And then I watched it, and you see, this is why it's so important to have your levels drawn. I got above that level, and then I'm looking for follow through. Even if I have to pay up, I want to see follow through through that level. I never got my follow through, right? So even though I broke the level, I wanted confirmation, some level of confirmation. I mean, you never know what's really going to happen, right? But I broke down, then I tried again, and I broke down. Maybe this morning we're over it. Yeah, we're over it. So maybe it goes today. I like that whole space. That whole space seems to be on file. Jern, thank you. I do have to go here. Let's look at FDS and AMD, and then I'm going to go. So, I don't like all these wicks. I don't like indecision in anything. So I'm not a fan of this just because of that. But if I was interested in it, it's pretty clear what you have to get above. You got to get above and stay above that area, 345, if I was interested. And then you could be heading to this 357 level pretty quickly. If you do that, let's do AMD, and then I have to get ready. So I like it. You're still in the flag. You broke out here. You're still in the flag. So just look, you're just going to rotate every 2-3 days. And that's what we've been doing. Now we're in cloud stocks. Now we're in at home. It's just going to keep going. Yeah, it's just a beast. Cloud stocks are the place to go. So that's it, everyone. I have to go. I got to jump in the room. I will talk to everyone later. If you need me, reach out. Email, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, whatever works. All right, everyone, have a